9 News.
Heavy rains, hail, flooded roads, trees down, and a fire started by lightning.
I was at work and they said that your house is on fire.
Fox 9's got this big story covered from every angle. Stay put for live team coverage.
Hi, everyone. Robin has the night off. First on Fox 9 News, storm alert.
That's right. A real deluge of heavy rain, flash flooding, not to mention high winds and hail. Just take a look at the flooding along 494 in Richfield. Drivers bravely moving through it, all trying to get home during rush hour. At least one person stalled out.
Fox 9's got this big story covered. We're all across the metro tonight. Christine Kleberg and Dawn Stevens are standing by. But first, let's go live to Tom Leyden in Woodbury, where some of the most serious damage occurred. Tom?
Yeah, we're just off Bailey and Wood Lane roads in Woodbury, and this is probably the most seriously damaged structure right behind me, this townhome. The whole second story shifted, the siding ripped off. The good news here, no injuries whatsoever to speak of. The real mystery here tonight is whether they were dealing with a tornado or straight line winds. It was just around 6:15 that the tornado sirens went off. About 10 minutes later, the winds really started picking up. Two townhomes here were seriously damaged. In fact, they're uninhabitable. And witnesses here are pretty sure they were dealing with a tornado.
We looked to our right and saw the funnel cloud just swirling around in the air. And my heart started beating faster, and I told my daughter, Brianna here, look it, and she looked up and saw it, and as I was speeding away, she saw it developing further and further.
All we heard was a little shake, and the house started shaking, and then I guess it crashed through the window. We saw a tornado in front of us, and then we just ran to the back.
Several trained storm spotters did spot funnel clouds in the area. The assistant fire chief was here just a few minutes ago. He says he doesn't know whether it was straight line winds or a tornado or not. He's not taking any gamble on that. In fact, the National Weather Service will be out tomorrow, take a look at the debris field and see exactly what they were dealing with here. Live in Woodbury, Tom Leyden, Fox 9 News.
Yeah, either way, a lot of damage. Thanks, Tom. At the height of the storm, at least 18,000 XL Energy customers were without power, and that's just here in the metro.
We just checked, and that number's down now to about 13,000 right now. Fox 9's Dawn Stevens is live in Minneapolis, where trees and lines are down there. Dawn?
Yeah, lots of trees down here on this block, 37th Avenue. Take a look at this one behind me. Not only is it just down, but it completely got pulled out of the ground here. Its roots are exposed. You can see the sidewalk lifted up off the ground. So many trees down the street looking just like this. The special thing about this tree, it landed on top of a truck. There was a man inside. Take a listen to his story. With the roar of the tornado sirens and the pounding rain stinging the ground, no one imagined the trees would become like paper in the wind.
I mean, it just is amazing.
Kate Hopper has never seen anything like it.
It just started raining really heavily and so fast, and then all of a sudden, the tree was there.
Her porch now has holes.
Water's coming in the back of the porch a little bit, so the whole porch roof might need to be fixed.
Around a dozen trees pulled from their roots and sidewalks in shambles. Most trees fell in the street or touched the tops of houses, but one man who was sitting in his pickup waiting for the rain to let up maybe felt the worst of it.
And I start seeing branches come down, and all of a sudden it was a big branch, and it was actually the tree.
He knows he could have parked his truck a few feet back, and the outcome wouldn't have been the same.
Well, right away I was thinking unlucky, but now I look at it, definitely lucky. So somebody's watching out.
Police are watching out around the corner where an underpass is flooded and power lines are down. Everyone on this block is in shock over Mother Nature's power, but all feel fortunate her fury wasn't any worse.
I'm glad that everybody else seems to be okay, and no one was hurt.
Those downed power lines we showed you in the story, they're just north of where we're at now. A lot of folks coming over this way to take a look at these damaged trees and just see how amazing it is over here, telling us that they're without power on that side. Everyone just hoping in this area that this mess can be cleaned up as soon as possible. Live in Minneapolis, Dawn Stevens, Fox 9 News.
All right, a lot of damage. Heavy rains washed out a section of road in Golden Valley.
In fact, Fox 9 reported about the potential problem earlier this week, and Fox 9's Jamie Reese has a follow-up.
When the rain started coming down here in Golden Valley, it overwhelmed a construction project and washed away part of one neighbor's yard.
This tree was just fine. And now this tree up here has moved 3 feet since this afternoon.
Steve Dargy is watching his backyard change by the hour. Downed trees and eroding land he blames on a combination of hard rain and heavy construction.
We've got trees that have fallen. I've lost 6 feet of land in 4 days. And I have trees that have fallen that are sinking. My entire hillside is soaking wet.
A bridge is going up at the end of his driveway. But Darji says during the downpour, a section of roadway caved in and washed away.
I'm worried about driving over that with my vehicle because they just poured rock in there. We don't know how far it goes and if there's any water that's gotten underneath.
Construction crews said there's no danger, and the city engineer promised to post someone at the creek all night in case the rain returns.
This is Minnesota. The weather changes. Look at your watch, it's going to change.
Everyone's counting on a break in the rain to let the water go down and survey the damage. In Golden Valley, Jamie Reese, Fox 9 News.
Now, of course, it has been a busy night in the Fox 9 Weather Center.
And afternoon, Christine Kleberg's here with your weather first.
Okay, Ian. I've been talking to Ian all day. We're looking right now at the areas that are still under watches. Tornado watch, severe thunderstorm watch, still some rotation here, but no warnings happening right now. Now, the counties that you're seeing highlighted in green are still under a flash flood watch. And that watch, well, this tornado watch is going to expire pretty shortly here. It's set to expire at 10 o'clock, and the severe thunderstorm watch is also probably going to be lifted. The flash flood watch goes to 7 o'clock. I've taken off the radar here so you can see all of the metro under a flash flood watch. Let's add the radar back in, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. We still have a lot of storms all along this area, and even though they may not be producing tornadoes, there is a lot of lightning being produced and flooding. I know the tornadoes are scary, but flooding is the deadliest weather phenomenon every year. The flooding kills more people than the tornadoes, than the damaging winds, than all of the scary stuff. That's the thing that can sneak up on you. Looking at some of these storms right now, slowly moving through the area, and you'll notice that a lot of the back line here just keeps developing, and we are really looking at two upper-level winds, lower-level winds converging, and that area where they're stacked up, where we've seen all of that wind shear today, is going to still be with us for a few more hours, and lingering storms are likely overnight. There's something else brewing, too. This isn't a cold front, folks. This is upper-level and lower-level winds stacking up on top of each other. Our surface winds coming in out of the south, but notice the storms. They're moving in from the west, and so we're tracking a cold front, which is coming in for tomorrow, which means there's still more unsettled weather in the forecast. We're going to take a look at the full details and also what that cold front's going to do to our weekend and if it's going to be chilly or if we'll warm right back up again. That's a few minutes away.
All right, not good news for all those folks who need to clean up.
No, it's not. Well, we want to thank everyone tonight for sending in their digital pictures to photos@foxtv.com.
Yeah, an incredible shot from 37th Avenue and 28th Street North. This is where Dawn Stevens was just live from. You get a better daylight picture of the tree that toppled onto the ground and part of it falling on the truck. In fact, most of the tree trunk right on the back end of that truck over the pickup box.
And the guy was inside.
He was inside. I'll tell you what, Dawn said it in her story, and we were thinking the same thing, just like you were at home. A matter of inches, if not feet, and he's very lucky to be okay tonight.
Also, a lot of hail piled up, of course, all across the state. Take a look at the ground there in Waverly. That's west of Montrose. It looks like winter. It looks like a little patch of snow right there, but there was a lot of hail throughout this storm tonight. A pink razor phone there tells the story in Litchfield. The Kruger family sent this one in, and you can see it looks like about quarter-size hail there in Litchfield.
Yeah, my folks called me and told me they had 2-inch hail in St. Louis Park. The hail just kept coming down, golf ball size, and then this one here looks like small ice cubes. Check it out. That's from Rogers, where we saw a lot of the dark skies this afternoon. And last but not least, kids making the most of the rain in North Minneapolis. Cars could barely get through the streets, but that didn't stop these little guys from having fun in the calm after the storm. I remember those days when the storms would roll through the Twin Cities and you'd get out there in that knee-deep stuff afterwards.
It was a good time. All right. Well, turning to other news of the day, the search is on for a police officer's gun in South Minneapolis.
The officer was running after a man accused of dealing drugs when the gun fell out of his holster. Police from Metro Transit searched the area near the Lake Street light rail station. And that's where the chase started, then went south before the suspect was arrested. If anyone finds that gun, they're asked to call police. St. Cloud police need your help finding an armed robber. Investigators say Justin Mitchell walked into a convenience store Tuesday with a gun, that was on Tuesday night, and demanded money. The clerk wrestled Mitchell to the ground. 2 shots went off, but no one was injured. Mitchell is considered armed and dangerous.
A Burnsville woman sits in jail tonight charged with murdering her newborn daughter. Prosecutors say 21-year-old Samantha Hygis gave birth to a baby girl in a bathtub and then drowned her. She told police her boyfriend, Eric Matlock, told her if she didn't get rid of the child, he would kill both of them. It happened 2 years ago and is just now coming to light after Hygis told a new boyfriend about it. He went right to the police. Meanwhile, police in Minneapolis are on the lookout for a woman suspected of stabbing a man to death. The murder happened just before midnight at 26th and Longfellow. Police say the two got into a fight and ended with the woman stabbing the man. The suspect is in her 20s. And firefighters jump into action after a blaze breaks out at a Richfield apartment complex. It happened early this morning, just after 1 o'clock. The fire was contained to one unit on the basement level, but smoke filled the entire building. 4 people were taken to HCMC for smoke inhalation. The fire started on a kitchen stove and caused more than $75,000 in damage.
And back to the bargaining table for the U and striking workers. Both sides meeting again for the first time since the strike began more than 2 weeks ago. Money still the biggest issue being debated. Last Friday, the union rejected the school's latest contract offer. A new message from Osama bin Laden. Plus, Fox 9 storm alert. A horse barn, one of many buildings, collapsed by high winds. The Gina 6.
It's a movement against criminal justice system being biased. It's a 21st century civil rights movement.
Thousands of protesters converge on a tiny town, demanding civil rights. Another person tasered. The officer under investigation. Plus, they're cuter than cute. A sibling rivalry over a hammock. Promising the information highway across the metro. Coming up on Fox 9 News at 10. See the progress as several cities work to expand Wi-Fi so you can be online anytime.
I'm Fox 9 investigator Jeff Valiant. Some of our best ideas come from you. Send us your stories and tips by going to myfox9.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page and click on Fox 9 Investigator.
Dozens of students walk out of their school in Los Angeles as a show of support for 6 teens in central Louisiana. It was one of several demonstrations that took place all across the country, supporting the massive one in Gina.
Yeah, thousands of protesters hit the streets in the small Louisiana town to support 6 African-American teens sitting in jail. Fox's Mike Gilliam was there and has more.
We're gonna keep on walking.
The population of Gina, Louisiana is only 3,500, but it's growing by thousands today as people arrive to support the so-called Gina 6. The march was organized in support of 6 black teenagers who were initially charged with attempted murder after the beating of a white classmate. All but one of the 6 have since had their charges reduced to assault. But the protesters say the story actually started months earlier, when 3 white students hung nooses from a tree on campus. The white students were suspended from school. The protesters say they should have been charged with a hate crime and that there is a double standard. People came from all over the country to attend the rally. College students in North Carolina, Tennessee, and Texas boarded buses to come to the small Louisiana town.
It's a movement against criminal justice system being biased. It's a 21st century civil rights movement.
Some residents of Gina say, although they support the march, it gives the town a bad rap.
I'm hoping that it all calms down and one day here in another week or so we can say, well, in other words, Gina's back to normal.
Now, the district attorney for this area says the white students who hung those nooses were not charged because he couldn't find a state law to charge them with. In Gina, Louisiana, Mike Gilliam, Fox News.
Osama bin Laden declares war on Pakistan in a new message appearing on Islamic websites. Bin Laden's 3rd message just this month. It differs from the others because instead of talking on camera, the terrorist leader's voice is laid over old video. A request by Iran's president to visit Ground Zero in New York denied. Mahmoud Ahmadinejad is scheduled to arrive on Sunday to address the UN Assembly. The leader wanted to lay a wreath at the former Twin Towers spot. Some called it just an excuse for a photo op, but the city says he can't, blaming construction at the site.
The 35W bridge collapse takes center stage on Capitol Hill. The Senate Environment and Public Works Committee held a hearing this morning. Senators Norm Coleman and Amy Klobuchar were both present. They both say the government needs to not only find out what went wrong, but to figure out how to prevent a future tragedy.
From what we know so far, this wasn't a bridge over troubled waters. It was a troubled bridge over waters.
Right now, more than 70,000 bridges across the country are considered as structurally deficient. That's the rating assigned to the 35W bridge before the August 1st collapse. Well, a rough round of storm sweeps through the metro.
Yeah, we've been talking about it all night. And in Buffalo, high winds toppled a barn with horses inside. Fox 9's Maury Glover's joining us live with more west of the Twin Cities. Maury?
Well, guys, it was a busy evening for Buffalo firefighters as the storm rolled through. They had to respond to everything from downed power lines to farm animals that have been trapped by the storms.
We had a storm come through.
On his hobby farm just west of Buffalo, the wicked weather has turned D.R. Moody's life upside down.
It just rained so hard and hailed that I couldn't see anything. I mean, the wind was really blowing.
Moody was watching the storm from his farmhouse when a strong gust of wind flipped his horse shed onto its roof, with more than a half dozen horses still inside.
And this thing was just loaded with horses, so that was the first thing on my mind, is that horses were hurt. And we came out here, and yeah, we did have one still in it.
Most of the horses made it out all right, but this 9-year-old thoroughbred named Beaker was trapped. Firefighters had to use saws and crowbars to cut Beaker free. Amazingly, he only had a few scratches on his back.
Well, he had to go for a ride. That was a double flip. That wasn't just once. It went on its ceiling.
Beaker may have survived the ride of his life, but it's his owner who's taking it all in stride.
Price you pay for living in Minnesota.
Now, in all, the storm dumped about 3.5 inches of rain on Buffalo, all in about an hour and a half. But other than some minor street flooding and a few downed branches, there doesn't appear to be any reports of any major damage. Reporting live in Buffalo, Maury Glover, Fox 9 News.
Good news after a very rough day. Thanks, Maury. Next, a media circus, plus protesters all gathering outside O.J. Simpson's house. A massive blaze out west, a cloud of thick black smoke, thousands upon thousands of tires up in flames. And in your daily dose, if you've got back pain and nothing seems to help, we might have a cure for what ails you.
And a flash flood watch still in effect around the Twin Cities. We are tracking more storms and a cold front. We'll take a look at what that will mean for your weekend coming up.
I'm Fox 9 investigator Jacqueline McLean. Some of our best ideas come from you. Email us your stories and tips. Go to myfox9.com, scroll to the bottom of the page, click on Fox 9 Investigators.
More OJ news. Simpson arriving home in South Florida, bringing the media circus with him.
Why was it a setup?
Come on, folks. Let us through, please. Let us through.
Yeah, they followed him all the way to McCarran Airport in Las Vegas. The Juice managed to slip away when he arrived in Fort Lauderdale, but more protesters and media were waiting for Simpson at his house. He was released on bail yesterday after being charged in an armed robbery at a casino hotel room. Arbitrators slammed the brakes on Floyd Landis' cycling career. The 2006 Tour de France champ lost his appeal of a positive drug test. Well, as a result, he must forfeit his title and is banned from cycling for 2 years. Landis tested positive for using a banned substance during the tour. He continues to insist that he is innocent.
An Ohio police officer is under investigation for the way he handled a nightclub disturbance. Yeah, it's tough to watch dash cam video showing him repeatedly tasering a woman they thought was causing problems at the club. She was eventually arrested and tasered again in the police cruiser after trying to kick out a window. The officer's on paid leave while the incident is under investigation. A convenience store clerk in Dallas wounded while trying to stop a robber, and all of that caught on tape. He held the door shut, trapping the suspect inside the store. The robber started to open fire, hitting the clerk and allowing him to escape. The clerk was taken to a hospital, is expected to make a full recovery. 2 arrests have been made.
Well, in this video, firefighters in New Jersey are battling a blaze in one of the tallest buildings in town. Flames were shooting out the windows as residents stood stuck on balconies. The blaze broke out on the 15th story, though it isn't clear how it started. Several people reported injuries, but their conditions are not known. Major smoke as tires burn south of Phoenix. Firefighters on scene at a rubber recycling plant, calling a rubber blaze one of the hardest to put out. The smoke spread for more than 10 miles. Luckily, though, no injuries were reported.
Okay, better listen up. If you got a cell phone, your hearing could be at risk. Plus,
I was at work and they said that your house is on fire.
Our severe weather coverage continues in Sauk Center, where a man's home catches fire after being struck by lightning. And are you stuck in a car lease and you want to get out of it? Stick around. There's a solution online.
On Fox 9 News.
And I no more than threw the water in 2 bucketfuls, and here the flames started right back, just like it was gas.
Fox 9 Storm Alert coverage continues when a bolt of lightning starts a fire at a man's home. We're live in Sauk Center.
More storms in the forecast where severe weather will hit next. Get your weather first.
A major multi-million-dollar fraud case. The mortgage scam that took money from unknowing Minnesotans. Plus, see how SpongeBob helped save a sinking ship. Rough day of weather all across the state of Minnesota, and one storm sparked a fire in Sauk Center late this afternoon.
Lightning damaged one man's home, and Fox 9's Scott Wasserman was there to talk with that homeowner. And Scott, how's he doing tonight?
Well, Karen, fortunately, he is doing well. The fire did not hurt this individual. Unfortunately, their home is uninhabitable, and they'll have to live elsewhere this evening. This fire, just one of 4 in Stearns County at residence caused by lightning.
Everything that you've had, you've owned, now is full of smoke or demolished to some extent. Yeah, we're going to be washing this off for a long time.
An emotional day for Jim Meelan, who has lived in this home since he was 10 years old.
I was at work and they said that your house is on fire. You usually don't think of your house being on fire. And next thing is you come over and then you see smoke and you think, what next?
Sounded just like everything was just rattling.
Jim's father, Dale, lives with him and was inside when the lightning hit.
Thundering and lightning and raining, and then all of a sudden it kind of quit raining, and then all of a sudden it started up again, and bang!
Dale smelled the smoke, rushed to the basement, and tried to put out the fire.
I grabbed a bucket and put water in it, and I seen where the fire was, just a little bit, and I threw that in, and I no more than threw the water in 2 bucketfuls, and here the flames started right back, just like it was gas.
The Sauk Center Herald captured the moments just after firefighters arrived. Jim speculates the lightning hit their 100-foot-tall TV antenna, went through the ground and into the electrical system in the basement where the fire started. Does it give you appreciation for Mother Nature and the dangers?
Yes, it does, especially for life, that nobody got hurt.
And you can probably see the house behind me. It looks normal, but inside, a lot of water damage and smoke damage. A lot of their possessions have been destroyed this evening. Fortunately for the family, they have some good neighbors. They brought over an RV so they can live in that RV while they are cleaning up the mess. Just a few miles down the road in the heart of Sauk Center, there was flooding earlier today because of the heavy rains. We're going to show you those pictures coming up tonight at 10. For now, we're live in Stearns County. Scott Wasserman, Fox 9 News.
Well, typical Minnesota fashion. A lot of people pitching in to help out the folks who were hit hard by the storm.
And there was a lot to pick up. I mean, wow, what a storm.
Yeah, there was a lot of pitching in here in the weather department as well. Yeah. Ian was trying to take a day off today. And
poor Ian.
You should know
he
better.
lives close by. If you're a meteorologist and you're smart, don't look too close to work. No, he was in, that's our plan, and we had a lot of strong storms today. Numerous funnel clouds reported, several good pictures of them as well. A lot of the storms losing strength now. Now, with a tornado watch issued earlier today, does continue through 10 o'clock tonight, but for the most part, we're done with the warnings here in the metro. However, we are under a flash flood watch that has been issued through 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, and lingering storms overnight, not out of the question, and another round of storms possible overnight tonight and into tomorrow as well. A cold front coming in. It's actually been getting warmer in many areas. By the way, I just want to point out, we did just have over to Wisconsin this new severe thunderstorm warning just issued. That one is headed northeast and away from the metro at this point, but again is affecting surrounding areas towards 35W. We'll add the radar back in there, and you can see that one has also been producing hail, which is what we've seen with a lot of these systems. A lot of rotation still being reported here, upper levels, more severe thunderstorm warnings moving east of us now. And again, a lot of heavy rain. Notice the line of storms as we put it in motion here, and you can see that we keep seeing development on the back side of this. It's like things are moving through, but more storms keep developing on the back side of the system. We've got upper level winds and lower level winds stacked up on top of each other, and that's creating a lot of lift. And so that's why we just don't see the backside of this storm system. And look, now here, we've got a few more storms developing as we loop this here. So we're not done yet, even though it looks like the whole line is moving through. What we have is what's called a low level jet, winds coming in out of the south to southeast. And then above that, we've got another jet that's coming across, and it's creating that wind shear, which is why you saw a lot of people were saying, oh, I saw wall clouds, I saw rotation. You bet you did. Even if you didn't see a tornado coming down, we certainly had all the conditions right before that, and funnel clouds again being reported. But look at this. A cold front off to the west. We are actually have been getting warmer in many areas of Minnesota thanks to that low-level jet stream, but that front is the one that's going to be moving our way next. Let's take a look at what's headed our way as we go towards the weekend. Temperatures right now, 80s to the south, 70s in the Twin Cities. Look at these temperatures up north, though, 54, 40s as we get into portions of Canada. Don't worry, it's not going to affect us that dramatically. Certainly not like these storms. But you can see the warm air just kind of nosing northward. So we're actually going to be getting warmer, and then we'll drop down a little bit. And fortunately, not for too long. We're going to look at a pretty nice weekend warming up rapidly. Right now, across the state, though, huge range of temperatures from 50s in the northeast to 80s in the southwest. And that line is going to hold relatively steady overnight. A few damage reports, golf ball size hail damaging winds, trees down on a mobile home, and 2-foot diameter trees knocked down, which again is tremendous wind. A lot of the worst we saw was in Litchfield, but again, many damage reports as you've been seeing. So flash flood watch now through 7 a.m. Severe thunderstorms starting to dissipate, but more storms certainly possible overnight tonight. Lightning a risk, damaging winds certainly a possibility. The cold front then comes in for Friday, which means more thunderstorms. Now earlier today, North Metro was in the 50s and the South Metro was in the 60s. Now we've kind of seen things even out a little bit, but winds at the surface still coming in out of the southeast, and they will be for much of the day. You can see much colder weather to the north, but still a lot of warm air off to the west, and also very high dew points. So that's why weather is going to remain ripe for more potentially severe storms, even into the overnight hours. And then you see not a huge drop in temperatures off to the west, and you can see a wisp of cloud cover coming in. We're going to be nudged by that colder air and see things getting a little chilly on the first part of the weekend, but then we're going to warm right back up again. So tonight, a few showers moving through, that lingering line of storms as we go into the overnight hours. Another round of storms possible on Friday, mostly North Metro. Temperatures in the 60s, winds getting more westerly as we go into Friday afternoon. And then those storms rolling through as we go into the later part of the day. The timing of the front could really mess up our highs. But as it comes through probably in the afternoon, we should still make upper 70s. It's going to start to get windy on the backside of the system. So we'll go from hopefully close to upper 80s as we are into the afternoon, and then drop down into mid 70s. So your extended forecast, mid 70s, and then back into the mid 80s. A very, very nice weekend after all of this. Then 70s and eventually back to 60s. The first day of fall, which, you know what, I never got around to putting it on the Sunday forecast there because we were a little busy this afternoon. But Sunday is the first day of fall, and it's actually going to feel really not like fall.
It's not going to feel like it, so,
like
you know, no need to put it there.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we are the official meteorologist this weekend, which will be a nice day for a run. Oh, and I'm the host, by the way, the MC for this event. I'm not actually going to run in it, though. That's how I got out of it. Oh, yeah. No, but this is the first year for this event, and 10-mile run, a walk also for younger girls, and that's all happening this weekend. You can check it out at myfox9.com.
In a beautiful setting.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, Christine.
Tonight on Fox 9 News at 10.
Powerful storms, damaging winds. Plus, an afternoon trip to the mall, then lockdown. And will the promise of Wi-Fi in many metro cities really come true? The answer on Fox 9 News at 10. Dose, it's something 65 million Americans suffer every day. Lower back pain, and for many, pain medication just isn't enough. So in today's Daily Dose, Karen has the story of one woman who refused to take it sitting down.
You know, Jeff, Sylvia's back pain had gotten so bad she could no longer walk. Confined to a wheelchair, she went looking for some answers.
And the pain was just, it was unreal. The pain was unreal.
Sylvia Kixmiller tried everything to relieve her killer back pain, or so she thought.
I was going everywhere, all sorts of doctors and neurosurgeons, you know, back doctors, and
nothing worked.
Nothing worked.
After spending a year in a wheelchair and thinking she'd spend the rest of her life in one, Sylvia even considered entering an assisted living facility at only 66.
The pills wouldn't stop the pain, and no matter what I'd take, it wouldn't help. And then I got so I could only just sit in a chair. I was just handicapped.
Then hope and help arrived. Sylvia met Dr. Ali Chalavi at an open house seminar about back pain at a Florida hospital celebration.
Sylvia was one of the people in the audience, and she was there with her wheelchair.
He discovered she'd be a perfect candidate for spinal fusion surgery. He put a synthetic bone over the top of her unstable spine. The synthetic bone eventually fuses with the real thing. 14 days after surgery, Sylvia got up and started walking again.
Every week it gets better and better and better.
She told the assisted living facility no thanks, and she plans to put her wheelchair for sale on eBay.
That's a great feeling.
It felt wonderful, knowing that I could just take my little grandson and chase him, and yeah, he got his grandma back.
Around 200,000 Americans get spinal fusion surgery every year, but only a chat with your doctor can decide if it's really right for you. Jeff?
Oh, pretty neat. Well, before you tie the knot, you're going to want to stick around. Your chances of staying together, all of a sudden, not so great. Keep your ears peeled for the latest news about cell phones. There's word they might be hurting your hearing. And it's one for the cute file. Playtime for some bear cubs fighting over a hammock. Isn't that cute? More when we come back.